Nigerian army dismisses and jails Brigadier General Ransome Kuti for failing to perform military duties in Baga, Borno State.
You know how they say silence is golden? In Nigeria, silence is survival. Because if you speak the truth, the real truth, you either end up in jail or you end up dead. But this man, Colonel Enitan Ransome Kuti, he spoke the truth and Nigeria made sure he paid for it. Who is Colonel Enitan Ransome Kuti? Stay with me as I unveil who he is. But let's rewind a bit. Enitan was not just a soldier. He came from the Ransome Kuti bloodline. That name alone, it shakes tables. His grandmother, Fumilayo Ransome Kuti, was the first female activist in Nigeria. Faced down colonialist military men without any iota of fear. His uncle was Fela Anikulapo Ransome Kuti. He was an Afrobeat legend and he sang fire into dictators' ears. But Enitan did not fight with music or protest. He wore camouflage. He believed the military could be reformed from the inside. Imagine that kind of hope inside that kind of system. He was born in 1964 in Lagos State, and he grew up watching his family fight for the truth. He went to the Nigerian Defense Academy, and he later trained in the UK and in the US. He was smart, he was brave, he was respected. He could have chased politics or foreign gigs, but no, he stayed because he actually believed in Nigeria. And then maybe that was his first mistake. Fast forward to January 3rd, 2015, in Baga, a small community in Borno State, a quiet town near Lake Chad. That's where Enitan was stationed. He was the commander of the multinational joint task force. And then, boom, Boko Haram attacks. Thousands of them armed to the teeth. Enitan's men, under-equipped. There were faulty rifles, there was no air support, there was no radios, there was jammed radios, zero ammunition. Imagine being a soldier with no bullets. Some ran, some died, but Enitan stayed. He rallied the last man standing. He held the base as long as he could. But what is courage without weapon? That's suicide. Baga fell and over 2,000 civilians were slaughtered. Now, here's the part you don't know, or they don't want you to know. When the news broke, the Nigerian authority began to ask questions. The government did not go after Boko Haram. Instead, they went after Enitan. Just 17 days later, that was on January 20th, 2015, he was arrested by the same army he fought for. The chief of army staff at that time, that was in person of Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, said nothing. He did not defend him. He did not question the failure of logistics. They just threw him to the wolves. And what was his accusation? That he failed to perform his military duties. But ask anybody on the battleground, he was the last one standing. But here's where it gets darker. Enitan had been asking questions long before Baga. Why are we short on weapons? Where is the 1.9 trillion naira meant for defense? Why are our boys dying while big men are buying houses in Dubai? He wrote memos, he spoke at meetings, he even refused to falsify field reports. He was not just a commander, he was a mirror in a system full of lies. And Nigeria hates mirrors. So they arranged a court-martial, secret proceedings, no public trial, just orders from above. The presiding judge was Air Vice Marshal James Boom. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison, that is Enitan. No medal, no honor, no pension parade, just silence. Even the Chief Justice of Nigeria at that time, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, kept quiet too. The whole system took a vow of silence. Now, ask yourself, why does a man who defends Nigeria get punished, while the men who steal from it get national honors? After Enitan Ransome Kuti served his sentence, he disappeared. There was no public interviews, no tell-all books. Nothing. One of Nigeria's most disciplined officers vanished like smoke. And you know what hurt? Even the army erased his name as if he were never there. But let's be honest, Enitan's story is not rare. Nigeria has a pattern. When you speak the truth, you get locked up. When you steal from the people, you get a street named after you. It happened to Delegiwa. It happened to Ken Saro-Wiwa. It happened to Maman Vasta. And now it happened to Enitan Ransome Kuti. He did not die in Baga. He did not die in jail. But a piece of him, a piece of all of us died on that day. We chose silence over justice. Colonel Enitan did not betray Nigeria. Instead, Nigeria betrayed him. If you believe this story matters, share it and let his name echo louder than their silence. Because in history's tapestry, we remember the ones they try to forget.